much easier. I put landing gear on every boat that I own. Except for this one. This one still needs it. So there's several different versions of the landing gear. There's one that is specific to the Hobie Pro Angler. There's also one specific to the Shoalie, the Crescent Kayak Shoalie. And these two are track kits. So on this Innovative Sportsman Osprey 1436 goes right onto the track. Same thing with this Bonafide RVR 119. Very simple installation. It goes right into that track. And the last one that we're gonna do, we have no track. Well, I have a little bit of track that I've put there. But basically, there's just this space, this flat space. Now, it's important that when you install, you find a spot where you have some vertical structure, and if you can, get close to a downturn. That gives it a little bit more strength. So we're going to go ahead and jump in on putting the standard landing gear kit on this Wilderness Systems Attack 140. All right, let's open them up, look at all the parts and what tools we need to do this installation. All right, here's the whole kit together, and with the addition of these sand tracks, which is what I'm going to use. So these are the ones that come with it. I want to upgrade. All-terrain version, pavement version. I'm going to do a little bit of both with this particular boat. Set that aside. So let's jump into a closer look at the hardware. Well, let me do the overview first. The wheel goes on this part with the two D-rings there and there. Keeps the wheel kind of centered on there. The leg comes up, goes into the knuckle. This is the knuckle. You have two, one for either side of the boat, joined by this center link extrusion. What's nice about that, it's top loading track for you. You can also put things on the knuckles on all four sides. Well, you only have three of them available. So these two pieces come in on the side. Once you've found the right spot, it's actually going to be further out. The link extrusion slides in there. I'm not doing this very well one-handed, but trust me, it fits in there. You may have to cut that based on the width of your kayak. You want to make sure that you get all four of these little set screws, tiny little guys. Try not to lose them. They go there, and they screw into the side of this and lock it into place. The part that actually goes through the hull of your boat are these four larger bolts. They go through there with this lock washer here, securing it in place. Goes through this piece, goes through your hull, goes through this piece right here, the starboard piece. It really just spreads out the force. So we'll drill some holes in that to match where this has room on the inside of the hull, but it's going to line right up with your threaded backing plate. So we got threads in there that are going to work with this bolt right here, and it sandwiches it all together, kind of like this. Good side view. Backing plate, then this starboard piece, then the hull of your kayak in here, and this comes down on it. So that's going to be sort of downward in your boat, this one's going to be facing sideways, and it's going to link in here. The way that it's going to link is with this hardware. You got a regular washer, split washer. It's going to go right in the side. Move this out of the way. Get right through those two holes, which the bolt is going to thread into these two track nuts. And when you want to tie it all together, one of the most important things in the kit is Loctite. I'll give you enough to do the whole thing. Loctite everything. So that's it. That is the overview. Oh, one more thing. We got a little bungee strap, and we'll show you how these go on there. But basically, it goes from one D-ring on one leg over to the D-ring on the other, and it just squeezes the two wheels together during transport. I think that's it. Let's go ahead and start putting it on the boat. All right, before we get into drilling holes in the boat and doing the work with this piece of starboard, they're actually called the stiffener. We're gonna put the knuckles on the spacer bars. We're gonna get those set screws in there very lightly. We're gonna do both sides, and we're gonna put the gussets on there with the hardware. Let's go ahead and get that started. I do have a Allen key set here. I think it's 5/32. Let's see if I'm right. Got all my hardware there. We will slide. I'm gonna take this off for now. We're gonna slide a track nut in there like that. Slide a second one in there. This little bolt here. We're gonna have on each one of them the split washer and the regular washer, and then we're going to slide it through one of the two. Well, we're going to do both. I'll do that a second time, and it's going to bolt right into each of those track nuts there. All right, we got two there. Let's see if I'm right with a 5/32. Yep, that's the right size. So we're going to do this on both sides of both knuckles. So they don't need to be on there real tight. In fact, you want to leave them loose because we're going to do some spacing adjustment in just a moment. But we'll get the other side on here, the other gusset. All right, I've got both of them on there now. We're going to repeat that with the other knuckle. And I want to make sure that these two slots for the, or these two threaded holes, which are for these little, ooh, they like to get away from you. These little set screws are on the sides. So it's actually going to be on the inside. So the gussets are going to be on the outside like this. The set screw threaded holes are on the inside. Let me finish this one. Okay, second one is ready to go. We want the channel side of this to match the top of the knuckle. We're going to slide this in. We're going to slide the other one on the other side. And we're actually going to take this whole thing over to the kayak and see where it makes sense. Before we even put the little set screws in on the side, I guess you could put them in lightly, but I'm just going to leave them. Also, understand that these still need Loctite. We're just not going to mess with that. We're going to take these out and put them back in. But this pre-assembly of the spacer bar, knuckle, and gussets is to make sure that we have the spacing right on our particular kayak before we start drilling holes. Alright, so we have this assembled. We don't have the spacer bar cut yet. We'll do that later. And now's when we start looking at what we're working with here as far as a good mounting surface. I have some things pre-installed I may need to remove. I could put it here, and this is fairly clear, but the consideration of, am I going to put a crate here? Is this so far back that it compresses the rear well? You want to leave space for the crate. You also want it, I'm going to say, as far forward and as wide as possible. The width really does give you a little bit more stability. How far forward it is, as it gets closer towards the center of the boat, the amount of weight that this is going to hold, as opposed to what you're holding at the front, holding the front grab handle. It'll lessen how much work you're doing and how much weight that the landing gear carries. So the other part that is a consideration, I'm going to set this aside, is with these stiffeners. Where do you have a space that this is going to fit? You're going to have to shape this. You're going to have to cut this stiffener. I could take the easy route, say remove this and just center it right there and put this on both sides. It's a nice big platform. Put it there. Is that going to work once I remove these two pieces? Maybe. One thing I like about putting it here is that you have the use of most of, if not all of, this stiffener, which, understand, it's going to be, I'm reaching into the hull. It's not going to be on top here. It's going to be up inside right there. And underneath it will be the backing plate. So the backing plate is going to have most of the force, and it's going to distribute it on the stiffener. So having a good placement of the stiffener is important. And I could take up this whole area. I'm inclined to move it closer to some of these more vertical surfaces and trim it. The reason for that is that these vertical surfaces add strength to this whole area. That being said, I think there's some kiss-offs there that may be in the way. So you got to reach up underneath there. I know that I have a Torqeedo installed on this, and I have the lines running through there. I'll have to move those aside. I got to think about this a minute. Careful consideration of where you put this stiffener is very important. Get it wide, get it as far forward as you can get it. I got 4 holes here from removing this mount. I got a little bit of aqua seal. I could do plastic welding, but I'm just taking this little shortcut. I know that it will be watertight. All right, I think this is where I want it, and we'll take a look at this big flat surface. I've removed two mounts, 2 tracks, and I can't go forward of these pieces here because these are little kiss-offs that kind of hang down there, so that's an obstruction. This corner is kind of blocked with this thing here, so, and the rest of it's pretty good. It's a pretty good wide base right here, so I'm going to mark this one as the right side, and this side is up and this side is down. This is inside and then outside. And there's a little crease right here where it kind of rounds down just a little bit, and I might actually grind away a little bit of this edge here, just to conform to this rounded edge here. On the front here, I think I'm just gonna need to cut off that corner because of this piece here. Is that enough? I don't think it's enough because this kind of comes out. Let me do that again. It's gonna be more like that. We get a little bit more aggressive. So this part I will remove. This side I'm going to shave it just a little bit, and then at some point I will take the backing plate and center it on this, and it's going to correspond with some holes here that are going to be like that and that. I don't know that's exactly what it's going to be. I'm going to wait till after I shape this a little bit more. So let's go ahead and do the other side there. So you can use whatever tools you happen to have for cutting and then rounding. I got this little Milwaukee, I don't know if that's right for cutting. Yeah, it'll work. I'm gonna stick it in the vise though. For sure there are better tools than that, but I just grabbed it because it was handy. Let's do the other one. Yep, I got gooey hot. I'm gonna clean up the edges here, and then I'm gonna grind along this edge where that kind of rounded down part of that edge was on the inside. Which you can see, let's see if we can look down that angle. You can see that it's just rounded there, and that's going to fit the inside contour of a rotomolded boat. On the top surface, because the mold is flat, it's going to have crisp corners. On the inside, it's just a gooey, swirling mess during the rotomolded process, and none of those corners are crisp. So you want to, if you're pushing this up against it, in fact, it's good to round any of these corners off, because you're going to have such upward force of the weight of your boat and all the stuff in it. You don't want pointy things that could potentially rupture your hull. So nothing sharp on this, but as big and flat a surface as you can manage with the stiffeners is a good idea. Just round those edges that are going to come into contact with the inside of your rolled and molded kayak. Let's go ahead and do the other one here. All right, let's lay that up right there. See how that does. Yep, it's got enough of the contact there. It might be a little bit wide there. I think I got to take this back, shave in a little bit more. Let's go ahead and mark that. Mark that on the Sharpie. Yep, I gotta go here. Really just that. All right, let's check the left side. See how it lines up. Yeah, I think the left one's pretty good. If anything, just a little more off of right there to match this downturn. That's gonna brace in there really nice. Yep, right there. Okay, let's grind a little bit more, bring it back, see how it looks. Okay, took out that extra amount. Go check it. Check both of these for fit. Yeah. Yep, that fits in there perfect. So every boat is unique. Yeah, that's ideal right there. You want to maximize how much of this you use. Bigger surface area with this backing plate being underneath it, pushing up. You want it as far forward and as wide as you can, and if you can get near any of these vertical structures, that just serves to strengthen it a little bit more. So now with both of these in place, we're gonna find the right position for the whole assembly. So we're going to go wide. Let me make sure it's even this way. I'm just kind of eyeballing it. Bring this a little wider. I'll tell you what, I'm tempted to take this back just a hair to get it closer to the center of the whole thing. Because this is going to go underneath it. Yep. I think I like these positions here and here. Left to right, top down, coming across. Nice solid platform there. We'll go ahead and take our Sharpie marker here and that's one of them, that's the other. All right, I got a 3/8 inch drill bit here. I'm gonna go ahead and remove, I'll put this drill bit in, and I'm gonna remove this assembly and just drill through both. Yep, I moved it. I'm gonna have to reset that. It's all right. I got the first hole drilled. Put this back on. Size things up again. That's thick. That's good. It's a good thick spot in the hull. Oh, I like it. Ooh, that's like that thick. There is some variance in how thick hulls are. Anytime the rotomolded process, you know, there are no two boats that are the same, and I really like how that laid up. This isn't how I'm installing, but just for keeping things aligned, I'm going to go ahead and stick those bolts in there and then repeat the process over on that side. Okay, next part is to get this up inside with the backing plate and line it up with this assembly on top. Alright, so there's a little bit of a trick here with making sure that all of this comes up to the right spot on the inside here. We're going to use this parachute cord, and let's see, let's do this furthest one back, and I think I can reach the rear one. Yep, I'm just pulling that up, so that's going to go through the rear hole, and it's going to go through this backing plate. All I'm doing is tying an overhand knot, and my goal here is to have this whole assembly pull up and come flush with the bottom. I think it's turned the wrong way. Yep. Turn that to the front. Okay. So that's just holding it up. Now, with holding this back, I'm looking in there, and yep, I can see. Yep, I'm holding on to, it's able to get through that first stiffener up at the front. And show you what I'm looking at. All right, so right now, I know this isn't aligned, but if I look down that hole on the sides, I can see the hull of the kayak, and I see the white of the stiffener in there, and I look beyond it and I can see the edge of the metal. So all I need to do is to put my bolt through there into that hole that I drilled of both pieces, and it gets resistance right about there. And I'm hoping I can just do this with my fingers. Once I get one, the second one's going to be easy. Just very slight downward pressure. All right, I'm going to use the driver. I got the right bit for it. It's just not grabbing. Tricky. Tricky. I did this with the Pro Angler video, and it came together like right away. This one's fighting me a little bit, but I think it helps just for you to know, hey, this isn't totally automatic easy. It takes some finesse, but the rope trick, that parachute cord, is really helpful. Okay, I've failed repeatedly at getting this lined up with this in place. I'm giving up, but I do have it threaded without it. So I'm using that as a means to just get things started. I can let go of the rope now. We'll kind of feed that through. We'll come back to this one. We'll get them eventually. I'm taking the rope all the way out. We're going to do the rear one. So I'm using the bolt coming in the top to kind of line things up. Yep, I got it threaded in there straight. And I'm backing it out. Everything is in good alignment, and it found it pretty quick thanks to doing this first. So this should go much easier. In fact, I'm going to use the driver. Yep, that's on there. This is coming out. Careful to keep that alignment. Slide that in place. See, as soon as you get one, it's all going to work. Okay, it's good to go. That side's in. It's a little loose. I'm gonna go back to what I had said in the intro. We gotta find the Loctite. Where's my Loctite? All that hard work to get that in there, we're gonna take it right back out. Good reason though. We're gonna take this Loctite, put it on the threads, each one at a time, send it back down there. Okay. You definitely need it on all these, and certainly the set screws, but I'm not a, I got a tube that I'm gonna use the whole thing, so might as well use it on all of it. That is on there. All right, got the other side on loosely. This is really tightened on good there and there. These are all loose, and basically when I tightened that side down, it shifted the hull in a way that it really tightened up this linkage bar here. That extrusion needs to be cut such that I'll be able to get the leg in. And right now it's sticking out the side, and right there it only goes in about that far. So we got to cut this, and I can't have this tight all the way. I may completely lose that backing plate. I'm hoping not. Okay, that gives me enough. Yep, I can pull that out. Okay, so what we're doing here with this bar, we want to make sure, I'm going to look at the one up close. We want to make sure that this can go in as far as it needs to, but also we have these set screws. They're actually on this side. So I want it to, I'm gonna move the camera and show you on this side. Right leg wants to go all the way in, right? But if we go all the way in, because this is a narrower kayak, we're in the way of this inner set screw. So we're not gonna go all the way in. We're gonna go in far enough. Yep. That the set screw is gonna hit here. And then if we look over on the other side, I'm gonna mark where the set screw is. The inner set screw. I can see it on this side. And it's about like here. And this is where I'm cutting. I gotta cut this bar right here. Because it's too long for this particular boat. Let's go cut that right there. Check out this old farm shop antique. Think it'll do the job? I know I got some power tools that might do it better, but I'm gonna use it. Probably needs a new blade, but I don't know what that dates to. Nice tool though. All right, we cut this little section off. We got this the right length for the Wilderness Systems Attack 140. I don't know if it shows, but these knuckles are pointed up here and then up this way. So I go and take that leg out. We're gonna come in this side. Well, you'll see that they won't align, right? That's okay though. That just means they're gonna be strong together. That upward force here locks the whole thing together. Now, I'm looking in here to find these little, where are they at? These tiny little, don't lose them, set screws. So I got 4. Let's hope I still have 4 in a few minutes. So I looked to see that there was clearance there, and here on the other side, yep. I'm gonna get it centered. I'm actually just pushing in with the leg, just knocking it a little bit. All right. You can also use the legs to kind of eyeball, hey, are they going in about the same amount? That'll tell you if they're centered on the inside. So, yeah, looks like this one needs to come in more, which push that one out just a little bit. It's a good wide base. Okay, we're gonna take that set screw. I better make sure I got the right, no I don't have the right size Allen key. Let me find that first. I believe it is the 1/8. So let's get a little bit of these. This is probably the one that needs the Loctite the most, so I'll be generous here. And we'll go ahead and gently place that in there. I'm gonna do all 4, then we're gonna address the rest of this stuff. So at this point, I don't have these tight yet, but at this point I do want to take each of these out and get that Loctite on there. So it's, you know, basically four bolts on each side going into those track nuts. And again, you want to really just hammer down on these at this point. Like we're done with all the positioning, and we want to make sure that these with the Loctite are just, you really get after it. Because they're going to take a beating. All right, I'll do all those, then I tighten these down, and then we move on to putting the wheels on and then the bungee. Running out of daylight, but that's okay because I'm almost done. You take the legs, so this square part is what goes in to the knuckle, right? The other end you get the tire, and as I said at the beginning, I've upgraded to the sand tracks. Just go ahead and slide that on there, but we got some D-rings around here somewhere. You got one on the inside here, and just kind of snap that into place like that, and then you do the same thing on the outside. Okay, that's seated in there nicely. We get that little clip on the end. We'll go ahead and do the other side. Oh, that feels good. All right, got a little decal. I'm gonna stick right in here. Looks good. So we got two hooks and two little, I don't know what these are, but they fit over the ends of the hooks. I'm gonna go back wide. So you take the end of the bungee. Actually, before you do that, you put this little loop, little tube on there, and then you take the end of the bungee, jam it up in there, and then you slide the little loop up there. But I'm gonna get some pliers to really mash this down. It's gonna make this process go a little bit easier. All right, good. Strong pliers here. And we're smashing. That's smushed pretty good. And I'm working the tube down on it. And I'm gonna compress it this way. From both sides. And I'm gonna drop it. You can skip the drop it part. That's optional. Yep, that's on there. Okay, just gonna repeat the process on the other side, and then we have these stowed. It'll go across. Let's go ahead and get this stowed. I'm gonna hook the outer D-ring, come around to this one, hook that D-ring, and really all it does is compress them inward so that when you're either on the water or driving down the road, your legs aren't gonna fall off. But I want my legs down because it's time to take this for a spin. First time. Pretty happy. I'm so happy. The Wilderness Systems Attack 140, although it's discontinued, it's one of my favorite all-time kayaks. Gets tremendous speed whether you're paddling it or certainly if you put a motor on there. Really get great speed and range, and to have the landing gear on it, thanks to the standard kit, is really something that makes it easier to get out of the garage, into the back of the truck, and onto the water. Thanks for watching this installation video on the Boonedox standard kit landing gear. See you.